Jason Lee, Marcus Birt, and we have Sidnei Frigo here in lane number 1, and all the way over there in lane number 4 is going to be Doug Winters.
In lane 2 here, Marcus Birt, who drives the cars?
Jose
Gonzalez.
Yes.
There we go. Not able to make it this year. This race yesterday. We talked a little bit about they've implemented this substitute driver program, and Jose took advantage of that. Marcus, a great driver, very seasoned. He's like Manny and myself, driven in all forms, and Marcus doing the driving for Jose Gonzalez this weekend. His first race in NHRA Pro Mod. Stevie and I both talked to him a little bit about just the pressure and how probably not the best race to get your feet wet in NHRA Pro Mod, but I thought Marcus has done a great job.
I'm sure you've talked to him. He obviously has a quarter-mile Pro Mod license, and you did a ton of 8th-mile racing before you went through the quarter-mile stuff here. What was his impression of the speed factor of the back end of the racetrack?
He, just like Stevie and I told him, when you pass the 8th mile, it feels like you pick up 150 miles an hour, not 50 miles an hour. That thing gets busy down there.
So Sidnei Frigo, as tuned by Stevie Fast Jackson, Yardavico Racing car in lane 1. The Q80 Pro Charger equipped Camaro Birt in lane 2. It is the Coast Packing Company Chevrolet Camaro of Jason Lee. This car owned by Manny Bujinga, driven by Jason Lee, sponsored by Eric Gustafson and his Coast Packing Company, a 100-plus year operation in his family. Huge proprietor, or huge, I should say, proponent of Pro Mod drag racing, and neat to see Jason Lee in this seat. And of course, Doug Winters. You want to talk about a guy who's been a champion in this class behind the scenes. I know the amount of work you've done, Stevie Fast has done, but man, Doug Winters continues to beat the drum for this category and does a lot of unseen work in Pro Mod.
And I want to see him win so bad, for multiple reasons. In Brainerd last year when he went to the finals, we were all cheering for him, and I want to see Doug and his family win so bad. They do so much for the sport. Last year, he brought D-Wagon on board. They did a lot for the D-Wagon shootout, sponsored the class for the year, showed up at every race, and just a great group over there, and I want to see them succeed so bad.
The Steinar Corporation is Doug Winters' sponsors. Brother Alan is the crew chief on this car. For Jason Lee, he's working with Patrick Barnhill, his longtime co-tuner, if you will. Both of those guys have made their bones tuning race cars for a long time. And for the Axeman, Marcus Birt, absolutely love seeing the crossover and door slammer drag racing from some of the guys that have just been rock stars. You know, and again, we talk about Marcus Birt was the guy that lost to Antron in the Pro 275 race in Bradenton. Then in the next race, he came back and beat Antron in the Pro 275 race in Bradenton.
I'm sure Marcus would like to get a little revenge in a top fuel car.
It looked like Lee was all the way in and he backed out, or somebody's foot might have been in the beams. Either way, I saw 2 bulbs on as well.
But Marcus, he's actually my pick to win this week, so see if they can get up near the top of the sheet in this run.
Winters gets loose in lane 4, but 3 of them are going to make a full pull. 573.7 in lane number 3 for Jason Lee, 577 for Birt, 586 for Frigo.
What Doug win?
For Doug Winters, a 10:44.8. The car, 107.60 foot time, started to square up the tire pretty early in that run. It was moving the tail around. He was off early. So Jason Lee is now the number 3 qualifier. Marcus Birt is now the number 6 qualifier. Frigo is number 12. And Paul Diagrapont on the bump at 590.
This next quad up, obviously Stan Shelton, Culp Lumber being the presenting sponsor of this race here, but this is a quad you could very well see very late in the rounds tomorrow. And if I had to pick who was going to win this one, I would just flip a coin and guess. Khaled Al-Belushi being one of 2 screw-blown combinations left in this field. I asked him yesterday, Belushi, do you think that you guys will stick with the screw? And he said, man, I've got the other car in the trailer. We're going to run the screw as long as it proves to be competitive, but do not be surprised if we do pull the Roots combination back out and take advantage of this kind of lopsided rule set if you're asking the tuners and drivers.